think we might be live. A little bit crazy, but it seems to be true. So, what am I going to do? Let's keep working on this fire pit bench. So, in a previous live, I planed this down and whoa, planed this down and put on the legs using some dowel joinery. Now I need to get rid of this rot and some of these pieces that are jutting out like that, making it a little bit dangerous. And then I also want to protect it from the bugs. So I don't know if you can tell in here. Let's see if there's like eggs or something in there that have been laid in the past. So I think it's more obvious from this angle. You guys see in there? So there's a bunch of this, rotted wood. And then there are these voids where bugs have gone in and laid their eggs, and now I need to try and get rid of them. So, oh hey, we got some. Hey, Sarah Turner, good to see you here. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Eggs, you'll take your sunny side up. Sweet. All right, so I'm going to move this over here, and then I think I want to chop off this chunk here and try to sand some of the rot off and smooth it out, and go from there. So I don't want to damage the router tabletop over here. So I'll overhang this a bit. And I think that'll get us a decent view. What do you guys think? Okay. Can you see that piece jutting out there? A little bit on the dangerous side. When I made this before, it wasn't really too bad, but I'm going to try to give you a little bit different elevation here. There we go. That should give you a better feel for what's going on there. All right, so I'm going to get out the angle grinder. And I was thinking to use like a jigsaw or something, but I've got a cutoff wheel on the angle grinder right now. I wonder if I should just try that. But I'm a little worried it'll be a little too aggressive and splinter things. So I don't think I want to try that. Hey, Billy, thanks for being here. Let's see. All right. So, what do you guys think? Should I try the cutoff wheel on this chunk of wood, or should I get out the jigsaw and try to jig it out? Although the jigsaw would probably cut down too low. Should I try to use the circular saw? Or, you know what, maybe just the multi-tool. You know what, I think I'll just do the multi-tool. That should do it. That's relatively safe and controllable, don't you think? Let's get out the multi-tool. Hooray! And got a spare battery right there. That's gonna be fun. All right. I don't really use the multi-tool that much, so this should be a good deal of fun. Let me get some eye and ear protection here. Oh, you know what? I left my ear protection in the house. Let me go grab that real quick. Be right back. Fear not, everybody. I shall return with hearing protection. I used to have another pair of protection, but the last time I saw that was the last time my daughter came and worked on the lathe. I'm not saying it's her fault, but I'm not saying that. I know it's not my fault. How could it possibly be my fault? All right, I'm back in the shop with hearing protection, with eye protection. There you go. Hearing protection. Ear protection, what's that? Are you a little hard of hearing there, Billy? Let me say it again. All right. So, I think I'm just going to try to come in at an angle here and take that out. The whole thing wants to move. So let me try to clamp it down a little here. There we go. And grab another clamp for the other side here. See if we can't get this guy to stay in place. I'm not a big fan of the smoking I was seeing. What do you guys think of that? Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Billy. And I think I should clean these off a little because I'm having a little trouble seeing clearly. Much better. All right. Oh, we've got Cherry in the lead for the which species of wood to use next. What do you know? Yeah, see how pokey it is over here? So you know what? I think that worked out better than the other options I was considering, in spite of the smoke. Good job. Hey, thanks. You do have a hearing problem? Yeah, that can happen. It can happen. All right, let's do some sanding here, except now I need to move this forward a little bit so that I don't accidentally damage the router table at all. If I'm going to damage the router table, I want it to be on purpose. Here we go. All right. And get down over here. And I'm going to put on an N95. Because stuff seems kind of nasty smelling. Probably should have been doing this from the very beginning every time I've worked with this stuff. But, all right. I need to switch out to a flap disc. Go. Take off the grinding wheel. Actually, I had a grinding wheel, not a cutoff wheel on there. Good thing I didn't try to cut it off with a grinding wheel. Okay. So let's see what we've got. 80 grit. 80 grit. I'm guessing 80. Oh, 60 grit. Let's try the 60 grit. Like I've used that one before, so we'll see if that will work. All right. No, I did that wrong. Come on now. Butterfingers here. All right. Let's make sure that's going to work properly. All right. What do you think? Should we just go for it? So I need to smooth out all of this, get rid of all this gunky stuff, smooth this out over here. And then I also want to remove a bunch of this rot and kind of smooth that out. So here we go. All right, stop spinning. There we go. All right, this is a huge mess. Let me try vacuuming at least the work area here. Okay, all right. So, hey, Keith, thanks for being here. Ozzy, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. And all right, so we've got most of that smoothed out. I think I'd like a little bit more there and down in here. I think I need to be, a bit more aggressive about getting rid of some of this gunk. So get in here, back in there, and then just smoothing out a bunch of this and down in here. I don't want people getting, right there. They could get snagged and down here too. So I just need to smooth a bunch of this out. Probably want to smooth this edge too. So let's do some more. It's going to be amazing. Here we go. let's vacuum it out again. All right, and one thing I noticed that right in here, a little bit dangerous. See that point right there? Yeah, that almost drew blood. Let's try changing that. It's much better. All right, I think I'm going to get a better result by turning it over to do the rest of under there. Well, I'll do a little bit more here. Okay. And Getting a lot of crumbling right in there. Feel like I'm getting to a much more solid wood situation there. Removing a lot. So that just revealed another deep area there that probably needs to get excavated. That's exciting. How is everybody? Everyone's doing pretty well. Everyone's doing pretty well. Ooh, looks like we're getting a little bit of a variety here. Some people think we should do cherry next. The plurality think we should do cherry next, then redwood, but we got some votes for maple and oak. So that's interesting. That is interesting. Okay. All right, I think that's about all I want to do from this angle. Let's see if I can make this a little smoother over here. I don't know that I'm really making it any smoother. Let's try flipping it over. See if that gets us any better angles here. Clamp it down so that hopefully we don't damage the router table underneath. Here's what we're looking at here. We've got lots of yuckiness there. Fair amount of rot here that I was planning to just fill in. And then we can smooth this out a little bit better, I think, from this angle. All right. Here we go. All right. I think that gets me pretty much where I want to be on that. What do you guys think? Ooh, cherries moved up to 50%. Let me see if I've got to clear the camera lens there. Hopefully you get a little bit better view. I think it's a lot better than it was. Still not perfect, but I'm not going to worry about perfect. The flap disc is not leaving my shop very clean. You know what I should have done is get my new air filtration unit installed before I started doing this. Let me see here. Huh. And let's see here. Let's also just try to at least vacuum out this secondary filter. that should be better. And you know what? I'm also going to try vacuuming out the actual unit here. There's not a lot of dust in here, but all right. So this filter goes in. I think I'm supposed to wash this in the sink with water, but then I wouldn't be able to use it right away. All right, and then I've got some new filters. All right, airflow that direction should be flowing like that. So down, and can I get it to fit? There we go. You want it to be a tight fit so that there's not a bunch of air getting through on the sides. I just wasn't expecting it to be that tight of a fit. All right, so I've been planning to mount this on the ceiling somewhere, but for the short term, I'm just going to mount it somewhere. So we'll just prop it up over here for the moment. And plug it in over here where there is a plug. And let me find the remote control. Is that it? No. That's a remote control for something, but not for this unit. Ah. I think this is it. Let's see. The remote control doesn't seem to be powering it on. So let me see if I need to turn on a main power switch first. It looks like maybe I do. Or maybe is the fuse blown? Let me vacuum this off. Hey, Jen, how's it going? Thanks for being here. Whew. All right. So, just trying to figure out how to get this guy to go. Um, okay, so we've got the fuse here. Oh, you know, one thing I didn't check is the battery on the remote. Don't know if it's any good. I bought this thing used. I don't remember if I tested it out before I got it. It's a bit on the weird side here. Got this little guy trapping the battery in. I think that might be the right position, but also might not be. And also might not be the right kind of battery. So, let me try and find something not metal to see if I can get the battery out of there. There we go. Okay. So, looks like it's got, it's sandwiching between those two little guys. So, let's see, CR 2025. Let me try putting him in again. And I don't see any other. Oh. Brilliant. The green button that looks like it might turn it on. Looks like it does turn it on. And the red button turns it off. You know, the one that says off. The one that says on/speed turns it on. The one that says off turns it off. Who would have guessed these things? Huh. So apparently the default here is if I push it once, it goes to low with a 4-hour timeline. Pushing it twice puts it to mid, but gives it a 2-hour timeline, and then I get 1 hour on high. So let me just put it on low for now, and so it's not so loud. And then eventually I'm going to check this battery and this, make sure, see if this remote works. It's a bit cloudy in here. I don't know if you can tell. So let's see if we can't clean up the air a little bit. And in the meantime, I think I'll try cleaning up everything else because of the dust everywhere. So let me do some cleanup, but I'll check in on chat, see what I've missed in the meantime here. Hey, it's like I'm relatively caught up on chat. There's a first time for everything. All right, so let me do some cleanup here, and then we'll get on to our next step. And let me find the attachments here. Oh, there we go. And so I've got some attachments and also some homemade adapters to make everything fit. All right, so that's a lot better. Use Osage on my next project. I don't think I have any of that, Tim. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. All right, so next step on our adventure here is to tighten the adjustment on the tripod so that it's not so crazy around. All right, so next thing, I'm going to take it off of the router table. The homemade router table, that is. Not to be confused with the Porter cable table under the workbench. I'm going to unplug the angle grinder, get that put away. I think we're done with that. I only sanded to 60 grit, but I don't care. I'm not going to worry about going any smoother than that. It's going to be rustic outside. All right, so, before I take it off of there, I should show you that I put epoxy on the feet here. The reason for that is twofold. Number one, help me level, because I ended up needing to put a lot more epoxy on this leg than on the others, because I didn't get quite a perfect fit on my dowels at the base of the legs there, or the top of the legs, I guess, when it's flipped up right side up. And then the other thing is that the epoxy should prevent the end grain from soaking up all the moisture up into the leg that can cause water damage to the wood. So, all right, now I can take it down. I did something similar with the hanging, well, the stands for the flowers that my wife bought. They're supposed to be hanging flowers, but she decided she didn't want them to hang, so she needed stands. All right. Let's see. Let me do a little bit more cleanup here now that I've exposed that. And from all the dust that was on the hose as I was vacuuming here. All right. As all the dust in the air settles, it's going to appear pretty dirty again before too long. So hopefully the Hopefully the air filtration system helps capture some of that. I'm gonna move it a little bit so that so the filter is facing the area with the most issue here. All right, time for our next step. Who knows what the next step is? Maybe you can help me. All right. Okay. Oh, looks like my next step is making it so that you can actually see the workbench. It's not the workbench, but the bench that we're working on. For my next step, I'm going to use this guy. And some of this. So this is treatment for bugs. So this workpiece definitely had issues. I think the bugs are probably dead now. I had it in my little homemade kiln for who knows how long. And I've got it down to a relatively low moisture amount, which has probably either killed bugs or driven them away. But I didn't have it at kiln drying temperatures, like commercial kiln drying, where it'd be over 120, 130, 140 degrees, which is where bugs start getting killed because of the heat. So I'm just going to do some treatment here, spray on some treatment that, in theory, should keep the bugs, well, it should kill what's ever in there now, if there's anything in there, but it should also protect it moving forward so that more bugs don't jump in there. So, all right, let me see here. How much do I need? Where this is a, if this were completely green, I would use a lot more than I'm going to use now. Let's see here. Okay. All right, so this is 1.5 pounds. And I'm just going to do the 10%. All right. All right, so I'm just going to use a little bit. And I'm actually going to mix this up in the laundry room because I have a faucet there. So I shall be back shortly. Also, I want to use the the faucet here because I can get warm water instead of just the cold water from like going outside. So I'm going to let it warm up a little bit here. You can get some at least warm water, if not hot. And that should help to better dissolve the powder. All right, got a good start. All right. Okay. All right. That's probably all I'm going to need of that. Whew, it is really dusty in here. So whoa. I'm just going to let that dissolve a little bit. Yep. Hello to Jen and Tim. Appreciate you being here. And of course, Billy, thanks for being here as well. Sticking around in spite of my boring activities. All right. I've tried like using a lubricant to make that not squeak so much. All right, let's see how well that does. All right. Seems like it's sprayed pretty well. All right. I'm going to try to let that water get absorbed into the wood. That's what it needs, water to draw the insecticide and fungicide down into the wood. So I'm going to go get the other board while I tell this to go at a higher speed. And I think I'm going to need a flashlight. Who wants to go with me? Go on a field trip. Okay, I need to lower this guy so it's easier to manage. Now I'm not sure how I'm going to carry the bench back with the flashlight and the camera. So let's do this. I'll let you see me carrying the bench back in. And setting it down and going back out to retrieve the camera. All right. And I think I can turn the flashlight off now. There we go. Let's see. That is absorbing pretty well. In here, it has, that water has mostly disappeared, but I'm still pooling up in this wider area. So this more dead, damaged area, taking the water in a lot faster, and then it's pooling up over here. So find a couple cardboard boxes over here. See if this plan will work. All right. Okay. All right. I'm just trying to really focus on these areas that are accepting the water readily. Except I guess I should be looking at the areas that are just letting it drip. I'm going to put more down in here. Let's see, if I'd been smart, I would have researched all of this before I first built these guys. Huh. All right. So I think part of the reason why that area is drying out so fast is because the water is just running from that side down. Because this is not very level. Because I didn't really level it that well when I first did these up. Just used a hand plane. And then more recently, I used the angle grinder to kind of sand this down a little bit. But you can probably still see all of the little chainsaw marks. Ooh, from when I plunged the chainsaw in and out to try and cut these slabs apart. All right. Looks good. Adds character. Yeah, I suppose. I suppose. All right. Whew. Still quite a bit of mist here in the air. Um, all right. So these are definitely have a rustic quality to them if you haven't been able to pick that up yet. Quite rustic. Ooh, looks like cherry is winning. 55%. Interesting. Is that just because it's first? What do you guys think? Why is cherry in the lead as far as my next project material? All right. I'm gonna. All right. And all right. All right. See how well that gets sucked into the wood. What do you guys think of the colors in this wood? They really pop out a lot more when wetting it down. I'm somewhat surprised at how easily this wood is taking in that moisture. I mean, maybe I shouldn't be. It would have been way better if I'd done this treatment before I'd ever put these guys in my little homemade kiln. But you live and you learn, right? I got a couple more benches that I made out of this log, but those are not ready for this treatment yet because I haven't fixed them enough yet. They still need more work before they'd be ready for this. All right, looks like I'm finally running out of solution here. All right. So next step on these guys is to let them let that treatment get soaked in for the next day or two. Kill whatever it can kill. And then I might try kiln drying a little bit more. Or might just move on to filling the gaps and sanding and putting some penetrating oil on this guy. Well, and the underside of this guy, because I ignored the underside when I was fixing him up before, which is why I didn't do the top side, because I've already put some penetrating oil on the top side of this bench here, the one that's further away. So I don't think the water would penetrate as well if I were pouring it on the top. Billy, you running out of gas already? Bedtime? What? That's crazy talk. Not even 5 in the morning. At least not here. Let's see. We've got some tracking going on still on that camera. Okay, good. Whoa. But hey, thanks for being here with me, Billy. Appreciate it. You need to go. I understand. Appreciate you being here for as long as you have. All right. All right. So, like I said, that should kill whatever bugs are still in there, if any. And move on to the next thing. So, I think seems like the air is a little clearer now, having run this air filtration system for a bit now, but that might just be because my eyes have gotten accustomed to it rather than it actually being cleaner here. Fun, fun. Oh, thanks, Billy. Appreciate it. Okay. All right, so it looks like Cherry is going to win the poll. I'm going to end the poll here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we've got cherry as our winner. Redwood is the runner-up. Surprised that no one likes the maple or the oak. All right. Thanks everyone for being here. Appreciate it. We will catch you all next time.